So this is something a little bit different to what I usually do on this channel, and this is a situation that has just come out, and it seems like there's been something against PirateSoftware. Now, this has been blowing up over on Twitter lately. It's on 23,000. It's picking up thousands of views literally every second. This is why I'm covering it right now. And essentially it's coming from an account called Lyric Wolf, who essentially says, when I was 20 years old, Jason Thor Hall, aka PirateSoftware, age 31 at the time, emotionally abused and manipulated me for sexual and financial gain. Thor's actions had a severe impact on my life, causing me to give up being a uni student and a creator. Now, this has been a pretty controversial post, and it seems like the main kind of takeaway from this is people don't agree with it. People are calling out a lot of flaws. People are saying it's your own kind of fault for this kind of stuff happening, and we'll go through all of the evidence that they provide, and you can make up your own mind, and I'm sure maybe PirateSoftware is going to make a response to this, so whenever this does come out, I will obviously make a follow-up video covering the response that PirateSoftware also makes as well, because I think it's fair to, you know, give them both sides, and obviously this is the only side that's come out so far. They also made an entire web page dedicated to piratesoftware.sucks, which is pretty crazy, pretty much with a lot of these similar stuff that they put in this Twitter thread, but they essentially start off by going with this. Thor's friend and business partner Shay, aka River Makes, Fishbones, age 22 at the time, while at first sympathetic to my situation, would ultimately be a willing accomplice to Thor silencing me. On my YouTube channel, I would upload piano transcriptions of music from video games, among them indie games such as Undertale, Celeste, and One Shot. In February 2018, I would transcribe and publish a track from Thor's game Heartbound. We started talking about copyright. On August 26, 2018, I would make a large donation of $800 to Thor while he was streaming the development of his game. From that moment onwards, Thor suddenly expressed immense romantic interest with me. On the next day, Thor would unprovoked initiate erotic roleplay with me. Now, this is pretty crazy, and obviously, I just want to mention as well, PirateSoftware has been going through a lot of drama lately, so this could be another attempt to kind of get on the bandwagon of hating him. I've seen a lot of people in the comments and in the kind of threads over on like Reddit and places like that being like, you know, I hate PirateSoftware, but like this is a little bit far, and sometimes it does seem like it does get a little bit far with this kind of stuff. Now, let's just keep going. Obviously, they say, he started to shower me with affection, praise, and attention, making me feel special and valued. Love bombing. However, I would express any reluctance to commit to him and solely him. He would shame me by calling me corrupt or clueless. Now, these are some of the screenshots that they put there. Now, I don't really want to read through all of these because there is a lot of specific kind of, you know, role-playing going on here, which I don't feel very comfortable reading. But they say, you know, I was just wondering if you wanted to hop on into another call. If not tonight, then sometime else. They say, yes, every day, like I said, silly. My night stream starts in 20 minutes. If you're awake after it, we should call. And I said, oh, right, but yes, my plan is to be on voice chat with you every day. And yeah, I'm pretty sure the right one here is obviously the outgoing message from this lyric person. And then this one is apparently, allegedly, from Thor. Now, obviously, we don't know if that's him. This could be, you know, made up. You know, there's been many cases of people making screenshots up. But it also, you know, I think it's important to not just kind of dismiss it straight away, but also not at the same time, you know, accept it straight away. They say, you know, you really made my life a ton better. You made mine better too. You're good, so good to me. And then they keep going, saying, you know, I super don't trust you after this little side quest. What do you want? No, like, I don't trust you. You did something really messed up here. You could have just come to me for anything. I would have been like, yo, I'm not going to repeat that. They say, it was when you were asleep, to be fair. Our call schedules don't exactly align. They say, Thor shames Lyric for role-playing, treating them like filth, and accused them of cheating on him. Again, they say, who gives a if I'm asleep? Sorry, I screwed someone else, but you were asleep at the time. Yeah, I don't really know what... I think they're talking about, like, you know, sex and shit going on, which, again, is pretty crazy. And they say, no, not right now. I'm super not. You broke my trust and showed me you could easily cheat on me on a whim. Now, if that did happen, you know... I feel like that's not the craziest of responses to someone getting on call with someone and, you know, having a bit of e-sex. I mean, I'm not very exactly, you know, aligned, or I haven't really partaken in any of that myself, but I would feel pretty betrayed by the other person. I mean, you know, I don't feel like, you know, this is anything that big of a expose here. They say, when I told him repeatedly that I was not interested in a committed relationship, Thor insisted that I changed my mind, not taking no for an answer. He tried to gaslight me into believing that I was already implicitly committed to him and that I would just say yes. They say, are you saying you're interested in a casual thing with me, but not a serious one? They said, I'm attracted to you, but I'm not ready for a commitment yet. So sexual stuff with me, but also with others. Then they said, I just want to like be friends or close friends. And also, yeah, I think that's also another thing as well. Obviously, they're saying like it wasn't that big of a deal because I'm guessing they weren't in a proper relationship or something. But again, sometimes you do have these connections, and I think it's one of those things where you just need to kind of communicate it better. But again, it's nothing, that exposing here. It's just like problems in a kind of, I guess, relationship. So if it's a situation of me being one of the multiple friends with benefits kind of things, I wouldn't be into it. They said, I understand. Does that change any of your answers? Yes. I want to be friends or close friends. They say, I want to go to TwitchCon with you still. They said, you seem to want to hook up at TwitchCon. Is this the case or not? They said, I wouldn't be opposed. They said, so you want an IRL social relation with me, but not be committed. They said, and you don't want to have IRL social stuff with anyone else, right? They said, yes. And it smacks your head. They say, that's the same as being in a committed relationship, you dingus. Why are you like this? So it just seems like some complicated relation stuff. Like, again, it's nothing that crazy, and I think that's why a lot of people are acting like this. I mean, let's just keep going though. They're saying after he manipulated me into asking him to date me. Again, this isn't, asking. I don't feel any manipulations going on here. He's literally just asking the question here. You could walk away from this anytime you wanted that you didn't feel comfortable with this. This isn't manipulating someone to a relationship. This is just kind of knowing your boundaries with someone and saying like, he's saying you want an our social relation with me, but not be committed. He's trying to kind of understand what exactly this person is wanting. They say, I just wouldn't be able to give you the time you deserve. So what does that even mean? I mean, this is literally just people, kind of understanding where they're at in terms of a relationship and if they want what. They say nod. So at first I thought you were meant with me, but it's clear you didn't. I'm going to get back to coding. They said, I don't even know if you want me after all of this. I like you. Good luck with the coding. Again, they're saying you said you had a better idea of what you want for the future. What is it? Again, you can even see, PirateSoftware here, trying to get out of it. They're saying, I'm getting back to coding. Like, I'm done with this. And again, it's like, it's one of these things where they're trying to make it seem like it's manipulation, but it just really doesn't seem like that in this case. They say, throughout our conversations, he constantly pushed for us to meet at TwitchCon 2018. He would regularly bring up how nice it would be able to see me down there and how we would have a lot of fun down there, even counting down the days till we met. They say, I'm going to have a lot of fun with you at TwitchCon. They say, cuddling is also on my list if we have time for that. I call Big Spoon. Christ. Okay, how unfortunate it'd be if some innocent cuddles turned to something more. So, again, I'm not going to repeat, any of that. That's super cringe. But anyways, yeah, say 15 days. That's them counting down the days until they met up. They said, we met up at TwitchCon 2018 as planned on October 26th. On the first day, we roamed with Shay and some other streamers. By night, the group went to a bar, but I could not join since I was underage. Later that night, Thor excused himself from the bar to join me in my hotel room. Which, again, is, I feel like there isn't anything super crazy going on there. But, let's keep on going. It says TwitchCon 2018. I feel like, this is all from 2018, a lot of this stuff that has been going on, which it's taken them how many years? What, we're in the big 2025 now? It's been like 7 years since, this has happened. I don't know why it's taken 7 years for this stuff to actually come out. Why is this stuff actually coming out? What is actually going on with this? But, they say on the first day we roamed with, they keep going, on the second day, while we were roaming without Thor, Shay mentioned that Thor has a secret wife. After we went back to Thor's hotel room, I messaged him asking about a wife, which he denied and blamed me for misunderstanding. Thor refused to talk, so I messaged Shay. So yeah, obviously they're talking about a secret wife that I don't really know what that's about. Again, it's seriously like one of these things which at the end of the day is not really exposing much. They say, as far as I know, you're fooling around and seeing if you're compatible. You've been pushing for a lot of commitments kind of thing, but I have a lot of work stuff going on and not a lot of time. They say, and a wife apparently. They said, is there a ring on my finger? There's not, just heard about it. They said, neat. They said, I don't want to jump to conclusions, so I just wanted to talk, I guess. It's a bit weird. Again, they say, I explained my situation to Shay when asked if it was true. I sent screenshots of me guiding Thor to my room. Shay was sympathetic and would tell me that they and Thor were sexual partners and had agreed to be open at the con as long as they communicated with each other. which is, crazy. They say Shay was devastated that Thor broke the trust by sleeping with me and messaged Thor. Again, this is just like some weird, like, there is no manipulation going on. Like, there's no, like, it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's one of these, like, small little drama things which just kind of go on, between a friendship group or, like, a relationship group, and they're trying to turn it into something even bigger than it's supposed to be by uploading it onto Twitter, onto Twitter. We're this far into the timeline right now, and so far I haven't seen anything that crazy. But then they go on to some other stuff in 2019, which goes on. That 2018 little saga at TwitchCon, it doesn't matter. It's a thing between relationships. No one cares. This isn't anything to be cancelled about. This is a terrible attempt at cancelling someone so far. They say, in early March 2019, I charged back the $800 donation made in August 2018. Thor would publicly call me out by name and make posts on Twitter, painting me as a scammer. On April 1st, 2019, Thor filed a DMCA claim against my YouTube channel. They say, in response to my Twitter post, Thor would claim that this strike was to prevent me, a scammer, from profiting off of his work, which, again, obviously we know PirateSoftware is very kind of hands-on with a lot of the kind of takedown stuff over on YouTube and utilizing DMCA against a lot of people, which, obviously feels quite within his character to do. But again, you made a chargeback of $800 donation. I mean, March 2019 you charged it back, and I don't know, yeah, the donation was made in August 2018. That's a long time. That's a really, really long time to, wait on it and then charge it back. They say, yeah, and then they go on saying, great cover. Unfortunately, you monetized the video, which is against our content guidelines. Please refer to the FAQ regarding commercial use of our content. They say, I'll check back in 24 hours to see if there's been any updates. I've added more descriptive descriptions to the video. Again, they say Thor reached out to me 24 hours after I published my Heartbound video. It's just like, again, it's just more things of, like, I feel like it is a little bit far for him to DMCA things, but we already know that he does that quite a bit. It's just like, okay, I mean, sure. We go on to say, on April 5th, 2019, I posted about the strike on Twitter. Thor would continue calling me out on the chargeback. I responded with a Google Doc recounting my experience with Thor at TwitchCon. There were three aspects to Thor's defense. Thor is divorced, Lyric doxed Thor, Lyric planned this, and he is a scammer. It's just like one of these things. It doesn't matter. They say, in reality, Thor was married from October 2015 to February 18th in 2020. I never leaked his phone number. Thor's actions towards me were focused on financially exploiting me. Again, it's just like, Thor, it seems like he hasn't committed any kind of, like, crime here. Maybe he cheated on his wife or whatever, or husband or whoever. I don't care. Like, I don't care about their relationship. I don't care who they're banging and who they're not. And I don't think anybody cares. It's one of these things where he hasn't, as long as he hasn't committed a crime, it's really not the biggest of deals. And, it seems like there hasn't been so far. They say he told the online community that I publicly leaked his phone number, even claiming that these were attacks. Members of his community would repeat this publicly, and Shay would also use this as a reason to convince my partner to convince me to delete my post. Thor was able to lie confidently, even that I would even end up believing him at the time. I didn't read back through the chat logs, so I didn't know that his phone number wasn't actually there. I had another romantic partner in January 2019. Thor and Shay would contact my partner to convince them of my wrongdoing. I mean, again, it's a little bit too far to go into future relationships with this person and try to sabotage them, but I guess, like, if they weren't very aware of what had happened in the past, I can kind of see them doing that. But again, I feel like there's a lot missing from this situation to really make a judgment. They say, convinced by Thor and Shay's lies and manipulation, my partner would give me the ultimatum that I have to drop the drama and delete all of my posts in order to show that I care about our relationship. My partner assured me that Shay was trustworthy because they have a mutual friend, and assured me that Thor was trustworthy because he agreed to delete his posts. Say, on April 14th, 2019, I was coerced to delete all my posts. However, Thor and Shay did not delete any of the posts as promised, instead leaving all of the Twitter replies and Discord posts public. Again, this is just stupid Twitter drama. It's like, oh, they didn't delete the post when they said they would. Okay. During these events, I was in college, doubling in major things. They maintained a 3.92 GPA over my first 4 semesters, and then they dropped down to a 2.7 and a 2.57, and then I dropped out. I mean, again, but I don't see why it's your fault for not focusing on, your education. It's not any of these people's fault that your GPA dropped, that, for some reason life at college just got worse. You know, it's one of these things where you focused way too much on this dumb stuff that you ended up forgetting about school and things like that. They didn't manipulate you into doing that. You just stopped, you know, trying hard at school. I mean, that's literally the only thing. They say in April 2019, when I tried to speak out, Thor turned everyone against me. I thought if I stayed honest and I'd at least be given the opportunity to explain myself, instead I had people say I was appropriating the narrative of real victims and accused me of doxing Thor. I felt abandoned by everyone, and what I wanted is to create free educational content. I say all sources and lots are on my detailed site, which again is the site that we looked at. And obviously, as we gone through that timeline, you guys can clearly see that this is a load of nothing. This is a load of nothing. So if you see anybody trying to post a drama farm about this, it's really, really nothing. It's one of these things where, you know, they've had a fallout, whatever, behind the scenes. No one really cares. And you can even see by some of the replies that are going on as well. For example, there's some people down here saying, you know, some people said, sorry, this happens to you, but like, you know, we don't care. You know, PirateSoftware clearly has no respect. They say, age when you met, 20, age when you, him when you met. They said, get over yourself. You should feel bad posting this garbage. They said, if you're going to come back with a serious allegation like this, you need to have more than unlabeled chat messages. You haven't proved anything. Say, PirateSoftware got laid. Not everything deserves a Twitter thread. He said, that's painful. You know, flirting is now manipulation. Get over it. Again, people are very, very much against this thread. And I think that is the correct thing so far. And this is literally, they've already shut down their own opinion, and PirateSoftware hasn't even replied yet. And if he does reply, and if he does choose to, you know, reply to this, it's an easy slam dunk for him. It's like one of the easiest things ever, because it's very, very much, you know, just easy just to brush it off and go, what is this guy even talking about? Like, honestly. And yeah, you know, even LSF, one of the worst communities over on Reddit, I would say, isn't even agreeing with him too. Obviously, some people have been like, oh, you know, PirateSoftware is in drama again, which obviously I can see everyone's bandwagoning against PirateSoftware at the moment due to all the drama that he's been in and is currently in, because there's been some new stuff that's come out apparently. But, you know, obviously, people are just trying to find easy ways to dunk on him. And obviously, as I said, you know, this is 7 years down the line of whenever all of this happened. It's clear that this person is getting on the bandwagon of hating PirateSoftware. Now, you can hate PirateSoftware for all of the other reasons that have come out. You know, I don't care. You know, you can do that. But I think for this case in particular, and I think a lot of people who have been against PirateSoftware are saying, this ain't it. You know, this is just a completely false thing that's been blown way out proportion, and it is currently growing massively. So I'm hoping that this video gets out there to kind of explain to you guys the real reason behind this and the real thing that is going on, rather than some people, you know, trying to blame him for another thing, which he just hasn't done this time, which, again, it's pretty crazy, but I wanted to keep you guys up to this, you know, up to date with this situation. This is something a little bit different, because obviously I'm used to covering a lot of VTubers and also like Genshin Impact drama. So, you know, if you guys do enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, and also go over to idubbbz, use my code Kaza. And yeah, pretty crazy situation overall, and I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.